Well, Truffles, did you have fun? It's like, leave me more treats and bully sticks and we'll talk about it. This is Truffles' roadmap to success. Now, Truffles is, I didn't see any aggression from Truffles, but I know, as a dog behaviorist, I know what I'm doing. I use really soft body language, and we set her up for success by creating a very positive association. And as a result, I had absolutely no, after 3 hours, absolutely no indication of her being aggressive at all. That's not to say that it's not there, but I think in her case, I don't think it's aggression. I think that she thinks she is the personal security system for her humans. And so I think that she thinks she is literally on duty anytime they're out on walks or anytime someone comes into the home. Because normally if somebody gets up unexpectedly, she runs over, barks at them, sometimes nips them. And so that's her way of saying, I didn't give you permission to do that. Now, where does this come from? I usually find that, and I think pretty sure that this is the case here, it's a lack of rules and structure. Dogs go through consistency, repetition, and good timing. If we don't have rules, we can't be consistent, we can't have good timing, we're not repeating anything regularly. And so those are the 3 things the dog needs to learn to understand things, and they don't see us doing those things. And so after a while, the dog's like, my humans are super nice, but they're not very street smart. And so I have to look out for them, and I have to preemptively disagree with any other dogs or people that come nearby. This mentioned the same way that humans will baby-proof their home when they bring a baby home or when the baby starts moving around, because the baby doesn't know any better. And the dog thinks my humans don't know any better. Some Dalmatian is going to take them home with them. They're just kind of petting sluts. They'll pet any dog that comes by. And so what we went over are some rules and the addition of structure to help the dog, help shift what I like to call the leader-follower dynamic. So we'll start off with rules. Some of the rules we went over is not being allowed on the furniture. For these rules, I said for 30 days or as long as the problem's still going on. So for dogs, the higher they sit, the more rank or status they have. So I would say the dog's not allowed to be on the furniture for 30 days or as long as the problem's going on. At the end of that period of time, furniture only with an invitation and only for good behavior. So if we invited her up and then she started barking because she heard somebody in the hallway, she has to get down. Or if we invited her up and she got down to go get a drink of water, when she comes back, she'd need permission to come back up. You should hear a little bit of something outside and now is growling. So let's see if I can redirect her attention with her nose. Nope. And that's the thing, is if you try to give your dog a really high value treat like these and the dog's not interested, then they're not going to be responsive to that. What you want to do is increase the dog's distance from it. Now we can also, and not only increase the distance, I can also shield her eyes. So as soon as I did that, you see her put her head down, and now that's my stomach rumbling, that's not you growling. But if we can block the dog, so if your dog is reactive, you want to increase the distance between your dog and whatever it's reacting to. If you need to, you might actually have to block her vision by going around a truck or a shrub or a house or something like that. But keep increasing the distance. A lot of times dogs growl because they're trying to communicate, I'm not comfortable with what you're doing, and you're getting too close to me. So if we increase the distance, dogs have a fight or flight response. One of the primary ways of dealing with things they don't know how to deal with or are not comfortable with is to increase the distance and flight, move away from it. A lot of dogs develop leash aggression because the leash prevents them from being able to do that. So be your dog's advocate. Make sure that if your dog is in a situation or something nearby that your dog is not a fan of, that you increase the distance and help your dog feel like it's more comfortable. All right, so one of the rules, not being allowed on the furniture, not being allowed within 7 feet of anyone's eating would be another rule. So imagine we kind of create a box around the front of the couch, and when we're eating at the table here, the dog is not allowed to be within that box. The rest of the time, the dog can be in the box, no problem. Another rule, the dog not allowed to be in the kitchen when we're cooking food. Not allowed to be off the carpet when somebody comes to the door. I forgot to go over that. We'll go over that here in a second. If you forget how to do the door exercise I'm about to show you, I call it a door exercise or claiming the door on my website, and message me. I can send you a link to a video where I demonstrate how to do it. Let me see, not being allowed on the bed, in the bedroom as well. Having to sit before we let in or out of a door. If I go to the door and say sit, and she doesn't sit, and I repeat the command, the more I repeat it, the less I mean it. So I go to the door and I say sit once. If she doesn't sit, I walk away, sit down, wait 1 minute. When after 1 minute, go back to the door and tell her to sit again. If she doesn't sit this time, I walk away for 2 minutes, next time for 4 minutes, next time for 8 minutes. Each time I walk away, I double the length of time. And as soon as her butt hits the ground, the door opens. Another rule, though, is she shouldn't be walking in front of us. For dogs, whoever's in front is literally considered the leader. So if I let her walk in front of me on the walk, or out on, yes, she's really upset about something over there, walking in front of me on the walk is going to make her more reactive. So again, I can block the vision, head goes down, I'm relaxed. Dogs are awesome. But if we go to the door and I don't make her sit, or if she pulls ahead of me on the leash towards something, then that's going to make her more reactive. And just like us, she's in an unbalanced state of mind. And when we're unbalanced, excited, upset, emotional, we're not going to be at our best. Same sort of situation for her. I'm going to put you back down. There we go. All right. You can pet her in a calming, in a small circle on her chest. That can be a calming way to pet a dog. But anything your dog is doing when you pet it is what you're reinforcing. So if your dog is growling and you pet her and say it's okay, you're actually telling the dog, I'm petting you because you're growling at this person. Now, if your dog is fearful or you want to, we like that. If your dog's fearful or nervous and you want to let your dog know I'm here with you, you can touch and let your dog know I'm here with you, but not caressing, because caressing or petting would be amplifying it. Let me see. We also went over a way to add structure to mealtime. We went over how to add structure to petting her as well. That's petting with a purpose. So instead of petting her when she demands attention, we're going to give her a counter order and tell her to sit or to lay down. And then when she sits, we're going to pet her under her chin and say the word sit. We want to pet her under the chin whenever we can, especially when we're rewarding her, to facilitate that nose up orientation. Proud dogs have their nose in the air. Dogs that feel good about themselves have their nose in the air. We want her to have her nose in the air when we're petting her for desired action and behavior. After a while, she'll come and start sitting in front of us to prepay, to ask for attention. When she does that, we want to make sure we do acknowledge her, pet her, and just say the word sit. Don't say good dog. Don't say Truffles sit. Oh, what a smart dog. Just say the word sit. And also be aware of how you say it. If I tell her to sit and she sits, I say, sit. That sounds like a completely different word to a dog. So say it consistently the same way. So that's petting with a purpose, not petting when the dog demands it, but instead of giving them a counter order. And also use the word paycheck. So if we recognize our significant other as petting the dog without a purpose, or we suspect, we say paycheck, and we just say, that's a way of saying we think that you may have forgotten to pet with a purpose, because it'll happen. The other thing we want to do is passive training, chin. Chin, this is actually something we teach a lot of dogs to do, to put their chin on the ground. That's a very relaxed posture. So if we want to communicate that we're boisterous, we're going to stand up and bounce around like a fighter does before a fight. If the dog lays down and puts its chin on the ground, that's about as mellow as you can get. For passive training, I wait for the dog to do the thing first on its own accord without luring it or enticing it. I just simply recognize and reward it. So she put her chin down on my leg, and I petted her and it said chin. Every time the dog comes to me, I pet it and say come or here. Every time the dog sits, I pet it and say sit. Lays down, I pet it and say down, and so on and so forth. The more that you reward your dog for these desired actions and behaviors, the more your dog will engage in those desired actions and behaviors. And for petting with a purpose, we flip the script on the leader-follower dynamic for the dog saying, I can tell my humans to pet me and they do it. That means I'm responsible for my humans. They belong to me and I have to protect them. But now, when I tell the humans what to do, nothing happens. But when they tell me what to do, I get rewarded. So now I am a follower mindset as opposed to a leader mindset. And we're telling the dog, if you want something from the human, you have to pay for it. And you're paying for it through obedience. That's your currency. So after a while, the dog will come and sit in front of you as a way of saying, look, I'm sitting. Shouldn't you be petting me? And we should as much as we can. And again, avoid using too many words, especially good dog. Say just whatever the command word is. Now, if I'm telling the dog what to do, if I tell her to sit, I would say sit during the command stage. And when she sits, I pet her on her chin during the reward stage and say the word sit a second time. That way we're putting the word sit in context with the act, and it's making it easier for the dog to understand. And even though she knows how to sit, asking her to sit on a walk is much harder, or when there's another dog around. So the more we practice this, the easier it's going to be for her to do it chin. And that's as simple as it is for dog training, or for passive training, and that is by far the easiest way to train your dog. Let's see what else. The humans are going to eat first, and we're going to add structure to mealtime. We did that off camera. I'm not going to go through it. Message me if you have questions on that. We went through counter conditioning. She had a lot of problems with counter conditioning. She is so on alert anytime she's around her humans in the apartment that we just did a light knock, and she would stop eating the treat. So if you forget how to do the counter conditioning, message me. I can send you a video on it. But basically, we're just going to let her start chewing on a treat. Then we're going to knock very, very gently, very, very quietly until we can knock a little bit louder, a little bit louder. Eventually, we'll do it at the door. And we can do this for other sounds as well. So I had one dog in Westwood where Velcro would make it go crazy. So they went in the next room and start opening it and closing it while we're delivering the treat. And now they can open and put Velcro on the dog and he's fine. But it's a very progressive, gradual process. Now, we also went through the focus exercise. Follow the instructions there and don't move too far too fast, and don't try to use it until you've got the 20-second focus in all those different capacities. Let me see what else. I think that's just about it. Truffles, can you think of me? The 5 rules for the structured walk. We're going to use the special twist and leash that I showed the Guardians on the walk that we haven't taken yet. I'm going to show them that in a second. And then remember, rule number 1, stay in your position. So give her a right or left side. Her shoulder, she needs to be aligned with my hip. Rule number 2, keep your arm going nice and relaxed, straight down. Never pull or put tension on the leash. If you do want to correct her, we're going to jerk the leash up in a very quick popping motion and immediately take the tension off the leash. Shouldn't pick your dog's feet up off the ground. It should just be, it's like a tap on the shoulder. And we want to take the tension off before the dog gets a chance to pull against it. Never pull your dog in position. Rule number 4, your dog can sniff wherever it wants, but it can't, if it stops to sniff, you do not stop for it. You're just going to let your arm go limp and keep walking. Rule number 5 is I don't let dogs mark. She may be marking, we're not sure. I think it's marking, but I haven't seen it. If that's the case, I let the dog pee before the walk, at the end of the walk, but not on the walk. We showed the dog how to use the dog bed, and I would recommend that we get a kennel for this dog because she seems to gravitate under the chair, or under the table, or under the bed. So I would put some storage containers under the bed to take away that area and get her a kennel and use the same principle I use for the dog bed. So we're going to toss the treat in. She goes and gets it. We're going to say the word condo or palace or whatever the word is for the dog treat kennel. And I would get the plastic kennel, not the wire one. And as soon as she goes in and touches it with her mouth, we say whatever the command word is. The second way we do is we leave the treat in there and we don't say anything. We just observe. When she goes in there and gets it, we say the word. And the third way is we bring her onto the dog bed and put her in a sit or a down position, pop the treat in her mouth, and then say the word condo or whatever your word is. Every time that she gets a new bully stick or a treat or toy, she should find it on her dog bed or in the kennel. Now, when we have male guests come over, people that she might be reactive to, we want to kind of follow some of that first video that I talked about. If she's sniffing, we want to let them sniff. We want to have the person wait and move slowly in soft movements, almost like they're underwater, very fluid movements. Make sure that they cough or say, I don't have a problem doing that today, but give the dogs attention before they get up and move away. And when they move away kind of slowly. I don't know, is she ever on people's laps like this or after she gets to know them?
This is pretty soon for her to do that, I think.
I'm pretty good at what I do. But if we just take the time over with greetings, that can help her feel a little more relaxed. But we can also do other things to help her feel good about having guests come over. Like maybe we have a marrow-bone. They're frozen usually. And when the guest comes over, then we pull the marrow bone out. So I only get a marrow bone when guests are here. Here you go. Nope. I only get the bully stick when guests are here. So that way I have more of an incentive to want to, we're creating a positive association with the guest and more of a longing to have the guests come, because every time the guests come, I get the best rewards I've ever had. All right. Truffles, that's about all I can think of. If the Guardians do have questions, I want you to call me or text me. I can only help you if you let me know there's a problem, and if after working with thousands of dogs, I can't call everybody over and over again. So if I don't hear from my clients, I assume everything is going swimmingly. If there's a problem, make sure you let me know. I don't care if it's a minute after I walk out this door or if it's a couple of years after I walk out this door. I can usually help with a quick phone call. All right, Truffles, you want to try this one more time? Will you take it now? No. And if she doesn't want to take it, don't over-offer her. Make sure you, actually I have a couple other housekeeping things. If she's not interested, then try it again later. Now when she is interested, ride that wave and practice it as much as you can. Also, make sure we don't get in a habit of moving around her. We're going to walk through her. She needs to learn to walk. Sorry, I'm watching something. There's a giant TV behind me. There's a crowd trampling people. Don't go to her. Ask her to come to us. We're going to go out for a walk. She should come to us. I want her to do the focus exercise. She comes to me. And also don't walk around her. Walk through her. She needs to learn that when the humans are coming around, my job is to get out of the human's way versus the other way around. Always outlast her. If you tell her to sit, she doesn't sit, get up and follow her. Follow through. And so if she goes around to the table, move the table. So she can't go around it multiple times. If she goes into a room, close the door behind you. Eventually she finds herself with nowhere else to go, and then I bark out the original order, sit. As soon as she sits, I walk away. I don't do this aggressively. I'm not saying sit, sit, sit. I'm not yelling her. I'm not chasing her. I'm doing it very slowly, methodically, like a mummy or a zombie. But she needs to understand that from now on, when the human asks me to do something, it is not optional. And the human is willing to stop anything that they are doing to get their way. If you do that for a month, after about a month, she'll just start doing it faster and faster because she knows you're going to have to do it regardless. Might as well just do it early, and then I can go back to doing what I was doing before. All right. I'm sure I'm probably forgetting some other things, so make sure you text me or call me if you have any other questions. But this is Truffles' Roadmap to Success. You're going to take the treat? No? Well, that's all right. Remember, everything you do trains your dog. Only sometimes you mean it.